Yay! Oh my goodness. I am so excited. It is this time of year when, for me personally, it was about, oh my gosh, I can't believe 35 years ago, where somebody introduced me to the Dan Millman book. And the Dan Millman book is about your life purpose. I need to look up the exact name. I always call it the life purpose, but it's not exactly it. Give me a minute. But what happened was, is we were there for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I was spending a week with him, and during that time, when I read the book, you take and you look up your numbers, and when you based upon your birthday. And when I got to my numbers, it was 31-4, which you can learn more about. I As I'm reading this, I'm like crying, going, how does this guy know about my life? How does he know about my challenges that I had growing up? How does he know about some of my shortcomings, and what am I here to learn? And how does he know my life purpose? And when I say life purpose, it's kind of like, what are the lessons we're here to learn, or what are the things that we're here to strengthen, and what is best for us with our health and our relationship. And I was so impacted for a number of days. I remember just being emotional, feeling understood as a young 20s for the first time. And also because of the processes and the questions and the exercises in the book, I felt so empowered with tools to be able to build a strong foundation. So for me, one of the key things that stood out for it is it just talked about, in my life, not really having a solid foundation, which could lead to addiction, could lead to other challenges, and really taught me to focus from A to Z and wanting to do this quantum leap. But for me, part of my life purpose was learning how to go, be mindful of the steps, understand the steps, and take the steps to get to Z. And so it was so powerful, because then, it's like, oh my gosh, I know what I need to work on to be strong in building that foundation. Now, everybody's unique. There's so many different birth numbers that each of us has, but that was there for me. And so I love it, because now it's like I've learned to be able to master those steps, see those steps. Sometimes people look at my operational charts and timelines, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so intense. But I know that building that foundation allows us to scale in our business, allows us to communicate with our children better on what's the map, where are we going, and really to ultimately manifest what we want. And so during this time of year, every year, I ended up getting the book, and every year I started using this book as a catalyst to see what, how did I do in this? What do I need to work on next? Because in each number represents certain laws, universal laws that we get to play with. And for years, I've been doing this workshop called Creating Your Intentional Year. And it was about, I don't know, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, where I started looking at, what does an intentional year look like? We work on these resolutions. Oh, I want to lose weight, or oh, I want to go to the gym. And gyms are at their highest rates ever during this time period. And from that, we're able to, really, um, many times be disappointed. A lot of times we'll start, and they say gym is up, and then they don't go. And so really looking at, how do I create sustainable commitments and intentions, and how do I want to be in the world? And so I have this beautiful process that every year I sit down and I look at key things of, the relationship in the community. What skills do I want to grow? What relationships do I want to nurture? What do I want to teach my children this year? What's the focus point with my children this year? And it's such a beautiful journey, and such a beautiful way of really diving deep into how I want to be. And so today we have this powerful 3-hour retreat where you get the templates that we work through. You also get the opportunity to work on creating your intentional year, and what are your intentions for 2024. Because I found that when I do this process, it is just magic that happens in our relationships. Last night I was looking back at what I wrote last year, for my relationship, for my community, for my business, and like one of the things they also talk about skill sets in business, and so I was like, I want to learn about Bitcoin and crypto, and I want to really, harness all this financial pivot that's been happening right now in the world, and to look back and not something that I these particular things I put action steps on, but to know that, oh my gosh, just by writing it down, so much of that came to fruition. I learned probably more than I wanted to know, but the information came to me in what I needed to know and learn in that moment. So it was really, really beautiful. And so hopefully you're able to join us today. There is the information down below. If this is something that you want to learn more, you can actually go to Life Purpose app. Now, these are kind of two different things. I've really just melded into a process for me that, I spend, not just 3 hours. Today's really the introduction to help people get through this and understand it and be inspired by it. Have these tools that they can carry with them for forever. Because again, this is something that I do every year at the year end, but it's where I sit down and I, really meditate and contemplate and journal and write to get clear on these intentions. And so, um, the Life Purpose app is Dan Millman's app, and this is something that you can go to his website. He used to have an app, but now he doesn't. I was looking last night, getting it all ready, and I was like, oh my gosh, the app's not working in the App Store. So he basically has it on his website. And the other piece that I love about Dan Millman's app is, which was beyond the book, is it tells you the cycle that you're in. I believe we're in 7 or 8 cycles. Each year has a cycle, and we kind of rotate in what we're in. And so, like, I looked last night, I'm like, oh wow, I'm in cycle 1, which is really, really cool. New beginning, fresh ideas, all kinds of things that are happening there. But in there, you can actually put in the birthdays of relationships that are really close to you, and it can help you understand how to work together, how to play together. I used to do this with employees, and I would also understand what life cycle we're in together and how to navigate that. And what are our strengths and weaknesses? How do we really complement and rise together? So, really invite you to do that. And so, super grateful to have this time to be able to share with you something near and dear to my heart. Hopefully, it's inspired you to move away from resolutions to really looking at an intentional year. How do you want to be this year? How do you want to, strengthen the relationship with your children, strengthen the relationship with your spouse? Who are the friends that maybe you want to nurture those relationships? I have lists of, I want to connect with this person, and here's how I'm going to do it. It's just not just what you're going to do, but how you're going to do this in this process. What steps are you going to take that are there that you end up writing down? So, with that, have a super blessed Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, um, and an amazing New Year. And look forward to seeing you soon.